If you own a GR Corolla and you want your exhaust to go from this to this, to this, to this. Yes. All right, you ready? Yeah. All right, to this. All right, that's good. Cut it off. Well, we have a solution for you. Introducing the all-new OTL Street Series Valved Catback system for the 2023 Plus GR Corolla. When switching from the OEM muffler to the off-the-line Street Series Catback, there are a few huge changes that you guys need to keep in mind. The first being the insane quality that we put into all of our products. You get the OTL stamping on each muffler, which is very nice, as well as a couple tip options, which includes a burnt tip as well as a polished tip, and even a black chrome tip in the future. The first major key point of the off-the-line Street Series Catback is the valved exhaust system. So this is completely controllable via this key fob right here. And what it does is it actually has a valve in it. So if you want to run a straight pipe when you're out with your friends on a cruise or even at the racetrack, you can open that exhaust up and really let it sing. Or when you're driving home or on cold start in the mornings or anything like that, you can go ahead and close that exhaust and it will reroute through the mufflers on the side. Another important key feature of the OTL exhaust is we actually made it a very affordable option, coming in at just under $1,600, which would be perfect for anybody that is just getting into modifying cars. I know on the Corolla market right now, a lot of these exhausts are going for $2,000 plus, which in my eyes seems like a lot. So you're getting a high quality part. You're getting the ability to control the sound of your car, as well as keeping it nice and affordable so it does not break the bank. And if you guys are worried about retaining the OEM valve system, we actually make a bracket for that, which we will also be installing today on the GR Corolla. Now, with that being said, let's get into the installation and let's get some sound clips going. Before we get some sound clips going, I just want to note that this catback system actually is mated to the OTL downpipe. So this will sound a little bit different than the stock downpipe going to the stock catback system because it is an aftermarket downpipe with a high flow cat in it, so it will be a little bit louder than a complete OEM exhaust. But as far as comparison, this will be about as accurate as we can get just because the downpipe is on the car. I'm gonna have Richard do a few blips of the throttle, and then we're gonna go ahead and throw the OTL valved catback system on, do a fuel with the valve closed, and then a few blips with the valve open. We're gonna get a great side-by-side comparison for you guys, and we'll even bust out the decimal reader to see what kind of decimals we can get compared to the OEM exhaust. Go ahead. Go ahead and blip it. One more time. All right, that's good. As you guys saw, we did hit mid-90s on the decimal reader. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw the OTL system on and see what kind of decimals we can get. All right, so the first step I'm gonna want you guys to do is go ahead and unplug the factory valve controller, just because that is not something that you want the wire being tugged when you already have the exhaust pretty much off. So go ahead and unplug this, and then we're gonna go ahead and undo the actual catback bolts up top, and then we're gonna go ahead and drop it down with the factory exhaust hangers. So these bolts that I'm taking off right now are not OEM. They are the ones that we supply with our downpipe, but the OEM bolts, I believe, are 14 mils, 14 mil bolt and a 14 mil nut. To our friends that are using the OTL downpipe bolts, you will be needing a 14 and a 15 mil. We're gonna go ahead and get this all the way off here. And now with those nuts and bolts off, we're good to start taking off the exhaust hangers. Now, it is recommended that you get a friend to help you with this, but it's not necessary. You can do it by yourself, it's just a little bit difficult. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the 3 off the front first, and then we'll hold that end up. We'll pop this off down here towards the front of the car, and then the whole assembly will just come right off. You got it? Yep. All right, I'm gonna take mine off.
It's warm, dog.
Okay. It is warm. All right, so the first step you guys are gonna wanna do once you get your catback system off is you're gonna wanna go ahead and remove the OEM valve controller and put it onto the mounting bracket that comes with your catback. Now we do sell these separately on our website, but since you are buying the OTL catback, you will actually just get one of these in the box with it. So we're gonna go ahead and swap this from here to here, and then we can go ahead and mount it up onto the car and out of the way, so then we can put on our OTL catback. The easiest way I can tell you guys to install your OTL catback is to actually do it piece by piece on the car itself. So start with the straightest piece that you have, and that is going to be the piece that connects to your downpipe. And you want your exhaust hanger to be facing the driver's side of the car. So let's go ahead and throw the hanger itself on there. And then we'll just throw it on the OEM location, just like so. And then we can go ahead and run the bolts in to the downpipe so we can mount these two surfaces together. Alrighty, for this part of the installation, just snug everything. Do not tighten anything down until the complete system is on the car. So moving on to the next step, we're going to be putting on the S-shaped pipe, and that will be the one that goes underneath your differential. So let's go grab that part and go ahead and throw it on the car. So the next piece that we'll be using is this S-shaped piece, and how it's going to go is essentially just like this. So it'll be going on here, like so. Make sure that it is all the way flush. Go ahead and slide your clamp over. And this is a 15mm clamp, or 15mm bolt on the clamp. Go ahead and snug that up just so it stays in place, and then we can get the rest of our system on the car. And then once it is all on there, we can get it nice and aligned by just loosening the clamp here and the clamp here and sliding it in place. But let's go ahead and grab the rest of the system, put it on the car, put the hangers on, and then plug everything in and get it ready to go. Last but not least, we have the actual muffler portion with the valve on top. All right, so you're gonna wanna put the one on the center first. That just makes it easier so you can get it up there before moving it around and getting the ones on the ends on. So we're gonna go ahead and just slide it into that pipe there. Just like so, all the way down. Raise this up and get it onto that center mount. All right, so now that we're nice and secured, as you can see, we're gonna have to go ahead and actually align this because it is quite off, but that is a-okay, and that will happen on any exhaust that you install. So now let's go ahead and get it nice and aligned and centered up. That way we can have a pristine look on our brand new off-the-line catback system. We're gonna go ahead and install the driver's side hanger now. Put on the actual catback itself. And then go ahead and throw it on. And then we'll put the passenger side on and we'll be all set up there, and then we can kind of twist these, the rest of the exhaust system and make it nice and square. So let's go ahead and adjust the rest of the catback and make sure that nothing is hanging down too far or, you know, gonna be in the way when you're actually driving on the road. So if you guys look at this here, this is not completely flat. Now, this does not have to be completely flat, but for our case, I'm gonna try to get it as perfect as possible, and that'll just ensure that the rest of the system is pretty good. As well as this, you do not want this to be drooping down too much because it will get in the way of the road. So once everything is pretty much in place, push this up, make sure it's nice and out of the way, and then we all should be nice and happy and ready to go to the racetrack. So I'm gonna go ahead and spin this just slightly, just so it's nice tucked up, just like that. That's pretty level. I'm not too worried about that slight angle. That should be a-okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and tighten down all of our clamps. And then we get to the fun part where we get to put the tips on the car and make sure they fit with the rear bumper. So let's get our 15 mils back out and go ahead and tighten these clamps, and then we'll move on to the rear of the car and make it look nice and pretty. Now, I will note when you come back here to our Y, you're gonna want the flange itself to be flush with that Y. There is a lip on it. You will see what I'm talking about. So get it nice and flush there. Go ahead and zip that clamp down. All right, that is on there nice and tight. Now we can go down here, tighten those two bolts up that go to our downpipe, and then we'll throw the back of the exhaust back on. Clamp these down nice and tight here. So everything from here back is pretty much tight except for the tips, which are on the rear of the car. So let's go ahead and check those out, and I'll give you a more in-depth look on that. Starting with the outside tip, we have this nice circular cut there. These are going to be essentially placed a little bit canted, so you'll see the peak of the cut, we're going to rotate it just like that towards the center of the car on each side. That just makes it follow the bumper line nicely, but you can run them straight up and down as well. But for our sake, we'll be running them just a little bit canted, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that once they're actually onto the car. It also helps you guys if you put your fist in the center of the exhaust like this once you're putting it on. That way you don't actually put your fingerprints all over it and make it all boogered up. All right, now that that is in just like that, we'll go ahead and do the other side, and then we'll finish off with our center tip. Last but not least, we have the center tip, and this is in a nice pattern that matches the actual bumper cutout itself. So this one is super easy to line up. You're just gonna line up the top of it with the top of the bumper here, and then you should be all golden. I would also like to note that our production models will not have this metal plate here. This was actually a prototype from our multitude of testing that we've done, but it will be this exact same tip with the exact same burnt polish finish. But that also reminds me, this comes in polished as well as a black chrome polish. So you can get the burnt titanium polished or black chrome polished. There's no extra charge for doing each color. So you can actually get extra tips if you want, just add them to your cart. But we're gonna go with the burnt titanium look on our red GRC. And I'm assuming the polish would look really good as well, but we're gonna do burnt. I think we all like the way it looks. It adds a little bit more to the car. So I'm assuming if you have a black car, I think the polish would look great, or the black chrome that's coming out too. I haven't actually seen the black chrome myself, but I've seen photos of it and it looks really, really nice. So. All right, that's nice and tight. So the last and final steps that we have to do with this car is actually hook up the valve controller itself, which is just a super simple step, but all we're gonna be doing is 3M taping our controller box up top there and then putting our flying lead harness onto the car. So let's get to that next step. The last install that we'll have to do is the actual controller box itself. And it comes with this harness that is only 4 plugs, super easy. The plugs only go in one way to each port. We'll start by clipping in to the bottom of the box here. If you're looking at it from the face, that's the bottom, and that'll be the small clip, and then the big clip just goes right in the center, just like that. And then we're going to be removing this back side of the 3M tape, and we're going to be taping it right up top to the actual rear bash bar. I would also like to note that if your rear bash bar is dirty, go ahead and hit it with some like alcohol or some prep, scrub it off real quick so your 3M tape sticks a little bit better. It will also come with 2 24-inch zip ties that we're going to be going around the bash bar with, but the 3M tape will just keep it nice and secure while you get those zip ties rolling. Go ahead and press that on there and hold it for just a second. All right, then we'll grab our zip ties. We're gonna go around the bash bar. And we'll throw it on just like that. All right, so now that part is nice and secure up there. So we're gonna go ahead and finish our plug and play install. Starting with your black clip here, that will be going to the actual valve itself. So that just clips in right up top. And like I said, these will only go on one way, so you're not gonna mess this up. Your gray female end, just like that, is going to go to the OEM valve controller box. Now what's important with retaining the OEM valve controller is that it will not flag a check engine light. That is why we retain it, and that is why we created this box. So we can not only control the valve, but the OEM valve does not flag a check engine light, which is super important for driving these cars, and it's really annoying to have one on your dash. So that is why we went ahead and created this system for our catback. It just makes it a lot easier to use, and it really avoids the headaches of having a light on your dash. So we're gonna go ahead and zip tie this up, make it look nice and clean, and then we can go ahead and lower the car down and get some sounds for you guys. There we go, just like that. All right, now your wires are all tucked out of the way, and your exhaust is completely installed. Now that everything is officially done, let's go ahead and send Richard back up in the car, get some exhaust sound clips, see what decibels we hit, and then maybe we'll do a little bit of driving for you guys and get some raw sound clips. All right, guys, we got the decibel reader back. We got Richard up in the car. Let's go ahead and start it up, and we're gonna open and close the exhaust for you guys just to see what kind of noises we can get out of this thing. All right, go ahead, Richard. So this is with the valve closed. We've got about mid-80s on the decibel reader. Give it a couple blips, Richard. All right, we went up to about mid-90s, so now we're gonna go ahead and open it up. All right, go ahead. All right, we're getting up over 100 on the decibel reader. You can go ahead and cut it off. All right, so as you guys saw, we got over 100 decibels on the decibel reader. Now the stock exhaust, when blipping the throttle, we got to about 95. That is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's install. If you guys have any questions or any concerns, go ahead and shoot us a DM on Instagram, Facebook, or send us an email, sales@offlineperformance.com, or DM me. My name's Jay. You guys have probably seen me on the Facebook groups and things like that, so just shoot me a message. And yeah, this product will be available on the website as you are seeing this video right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.